to our special call budget committee meeting. At this time, I'm going to ask the sheriff, if you would, Mr. Steve Pace, come up. He's going to lead us in prayer before the meeting.
Everybody stand up. Gracious and kind Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all your mercy, dear Father. We thank you, Lord, for blessing us. Lord, so do not deserve it, Lord. Please forgive us for we fail you, Father. Lord, we sing, Lord. Bless us meet tonight and lead us and guide us in the right ways. In Christ's name we ask. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Sheriff. We'll have a roll call vote. Denny Wayne Robinson.
Here.
T.K. Austin.
Here.
David Cranford.
Here.
Derek Hutchins.
Here.
Kyle Goff is here. Everyone is in attendance, and we have a quorum. At this time, I would open the floor for approval of the minutes from our March 3rd Budget Committee meeting.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. The purpose of the meeting tonight is to hear from some of our department heads that came to present their budget. But while we are here, our finance director has a couple of budget amendments for us to approve. These are coming from the School Federal Projects Fund. We have two that stay here within committee. Mr. Markham, would you care to hit both of those for us?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First budget amendment is Subfund 951. This is the Out-of-School Time Career Pathways Grant. This is a code adjustment. Actually, both of these are code adjustments. We're just we're changing the budgetary code from 47.310 to 47.139 per state Department of Education guidance. And then in the next one is Subfund 901 IDEA Part B. We are moving $9,000 from non-certified substitute teachers to certified substitute teachers. So same purpose of the funding, just a change in the account code. These have been before the school board for approval.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Markham. We can open the floor for approval.
I'll make a motion to so move.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion?
This does not need school board approval. You said it's already been cleared. Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, amendments are approved. Thank you, Mr. Markham. All right, we'll move on to our fiscal year 2026 budget. As I mentioned, the purpose of this meeting is to have some of our department heads present to us. We're going to start with Ms. Kathy Farley from the White County Library. Ms. Farley, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like we have 5 major requests. The 2 on the front page here deal with personnel or pay structure. And then if you flip, Chad has stapled those together, the backside is projects or infrastructure building needs.
Right.
You care to go through the list for us, and we'll just stop you as needed, if that's okay with you?
Glad to. I tried to figure out how best to tell you why these employees are worth it. And so I decided I'd just look at the statistics and let the statistics speak for themselves. In March of 2025, last month, we were open for 26 days. In those 26 days, we saw 57 people get new passports. 18 got their passports renewed at the White County Library. We saw 9,543 people walk through the doors. 48 of those people got new library cards. We circulated 7,373 books. That's an average of 283 a day that come in and come back out. We answered 925 questions. Those are people that walk through the door needing anything and everything, and we make it happen for them. That's an average of 36 a day. We had 18 in-person programs. 437 people attended those in-person programs. That's an average of 24 per program. We had 4 virtual programs. 3,693 viewed those on our sites. Some, of course, of those were in the library, the in-person, and some were out in the field. We go to NHC every month, work with the people there. We go to the high school, we go to the middle school. I also served as a guest lecturer this week for MTSU. So we do a lot of stuff in and out of the building to promote it. We are gearing up right now for summer reading. Last year's summer reading, we had 897 people enrolled in the program. Those people, of those 897, 5,594 attended programs in the building at some point. 11,667 books were read. You have a service population in White County of 28,692 people. Sure, you know that number as well as I do. 23,760 have library cards. We need the librarians that are there. The biggest problem that I have right now is that you're hiring people off the street at more than a 20-year veteran of the library is making. It's not fair. That 20-year person of mine is required to have a master's degree by the state standards. And you're hiring people off the street more than you're paying him. A maintenance person who talked about his salary in front of my 20-year person who said, "Miss Kathy, what gives?" And I'm like, I wish I knew. I wish I knew. So if you notice, Derek posted some things about salaries, and the lowest ones, library, every time. These numbers aren't lowest for your county. This is your best foot forward in the county. We are the ones that people come to when they need help. We help them. We're constantly out there for you. It would be nice for y'all to show that. Now, in addition to that, we got a carpet request on here just because it's old and it's wore out. It's 19 years old. Can you believe that building is 19 years old? We still call it the new library, don't we? But it's 19 years old this year. That's a rough estimate of what it would cost. I don't have a clue. We got an estimate probably been about 5 years ago.
Because you were asking for about 10,000 last year, I think.
We got it updated, and it's like, ooh, this is not going to get any cheaper. So I don't know if carpet's the answer, if we need to go with some sort of different tile. We'll look at all the options when we look. But we need to know that we've got the support to move. The circulation software, we are waiting on an update to come out for that. So when that update comes out, we will let you know when we need to move that, and we'll have a transition period when we find out the update's coming.
Is that the reason for the question mark?
That's the reason for the question mark. We have been waiting on that update for about 4 years now, and we will need to move to it when it comes. So again, that's another one of the standards that we have to meet, so.
With that update, do we need to update the software or anything else that goes out? I mean, like the computers, the programs, anything like that?
Everything else, all of that is covered in our budget already. We have help from the state taking care of those things, and all those things are covered. We will have a little bit more of a tech grant budget this year than we have in the past couple years because we have to transition to a new Office program. Office is actually putting something out that's not subscription-based for libraries, for local governments. So we're very excited about that. We're tired of paying those monthly fees.
How many librarians do you have?
Librarians, I have 6. 2 of them are required to have the master's degree. 2 more are required to have the bachelor's. And then the others have high school diplomas. All 4 of my full-times are bachelor's degree or above. Of course, I have my master's, and Michael is about 2/3 of the way through his. So, yeah, he's getting there.
So,
She may know off the top of her head. Do you know off the top of your head the dollar amount that this would be, that your request would be per
It's
hour?
17% for each employee.
Okay.
17% across the board. Again, we were trying to find a fair way of doing it. I have ones that are 20 hours a week up to full-time, so. 4 full-time, 5 part.
You said that one of your librarians been there for 20 years?
I've been there for 27, it'll be 28 in October. Michael Hill has been there for 20 or 21. I'd have to look back at this paperwork to make sure. We hired him when he was 16. It's the only reason I've been able to trick him into staying this long. He's your future. When I'm standing here saying I've been here 27 and a half years, and y'all know they had that TCRS thing, y'all know I was in it. I also found out that I ain't going anywhere in the next 5 or 6 years. Don't get excited, okay? I knew some of you got excited there, but don't get excited, okay? Because I found out that ain't happening.
some of our discussions, we've had a couple or several work sessions, and one of the big things that come out of our work session, we talked about possibly doing some kind of longevity pay for the employees, come up with a figure to specifically for longtime employees, a certain dollar amount per year that they would get, annually based on their
It
longevity.
would be retroactive.
That would go a long way towards settling record fine stuff for some of mine. But then you got other departments sitting over here that look like Steve that lured one of mine away and paid her more off the street than I paid her after 5 years. Yes, you did. Y'all did that to me. Y'all should be ashamed. And now, so when they tell you they're poor, don't y'all pay attention to that. You know who's poor? This girl.
He says everybody poaches his employees.
All the time.
Did you take mine or not? Hand raised. Did you take mine? Where's Julie Randolph employed?
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
All right. We're all
My
in the best
goodness.
interest of the county.
Yes.
We're all in this.
We're all in this together, but I also lost one to the school system, 10-year employee to the school system. They're poor too, I hear.
Can you keep going down? You've 27 and a half years for you, Michael, 21. The other 6, do you know off the top of your head?
I can tell you the longest serving one is Patty. She's next. She, Jimmy, and Anita are all 3 at 10 years this year. They're going over their 10 throughout the year, and they come dancing in my office when they get their 3rd week off. They're like, 3 weeks off? And I'm like, oh, gracious, I hate y'all.
And so you have another 3 that are under.
We have one that is at 2 years, actually in like 3 days from now. And then another one that is at 1.5 years. And I'm trying to remember back. Joanne's probably close to 5 years now. She's getting close to 5. So we're getting there. The library's a weird place to work. I don't mind telling y'all that. Y'all know me. You either get in there and you like it, or you get in there and you figure out really quick it's not for you, and then you go somewhere like the sheriff's department for more money. So I've heard. So anyway.
What makes you funny better, she's grown the educational program in the jail by about 60-something%.
Exactly. Parts, a lot of help from the library, just saying.
Do you guys have any other questions?
You might want to talk about the Title V workers.
We have 3 Title V workers, and we're caught up in that right now. We started out the year that they were getting 28 hours apiece, and guess how many of their hours they're getting this week? 15 hours. So we're actually closed on a Tuesday night for the first time in a long time, trying to figure out what to do.
That's supposed to change after this month, ain't it?
I'm sorry.
That's supposed to change after the end of April.
April 1st. It's supposed to go back July 1st is what they're telling me. But they're telling me it's not going to go back till July. And I'm scrambling like crazy because we've lost a whole lot of hours there. 3 people that were, it's a wonderful program. And we've hired people consistently from that program that get in there and prove themselves and come on to us. So I have I have an employee that's over 90. I have an employee that's over the age of 80. We have a lot of good folks that work there and stay there, and they don't have to go pick kids up after school. Just saying. It's great. They're a lot more flexible in their schedules, so. And we love them, and they love their jobs, so.
Any other questions? Hearing none.
If you think of
Kathy,
any
your numbers
comment.
are impressive.
We have good numbers every month. We are one of the statistical darlings for the state in that we do what we say we want to do. A lot of libraries say, and they don't prove it. We do it.
Passport
So,
thing has been huge.
the passports are amazing. Chad will be happy to know that we took in over $2,000 in passports last month. Cha-ching. So, of course, that money goes to help pay for summer reading. So, one of our biggest programs.
Now, your special needs employees, it's a separate bucket.
That's a
from
separate budget
Title
line.
V, right?
On that one. They got a big raise last year before. And so we did not put them in because y'all just gave them quite a big one. And they also are all over 5-year employees. They got their certificates this year. They were very proud of them. So really nice guys. We have Greg Thomas, we have David Green, and we have Mike Jones, are our 3. They do the cleaning for us, and they basically hang out and entertain us some days. So it's a lot of fun working with those 3, so.
Well, thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
If y'all think of anything, just call me. All right.
Thank you.
See y'all later.
Does the committee have any discussion there before we move on? Any thoughts?
I mean, in the back of my head, I was kind of looking at round numbers of 15% for county employees to see what that looked like for the year. So that's kind of in line.
17. Anything else? All right, next up, we have the Sheriff's Department. I'll ask the sheriff to come up. You should just be able to move right next part of your packet there.
Well, thank you all for coming up here and listening to us tonight. Appreciate every one of you, the job you do. I know it ain't easy. None of them are. Let me start off by saying that I'm proud to say this, our jail is now Tier 1 certified. We haven't got our certificate yet, that's why we ain't made a big announcement yet, but it is Tier 1 certified, which is a huge accomplishment for the Sheriff's Department. We've never had that I know of. All right.
That's a big deal, because last year you were afraid it was going to get potentially shut down or decertified or
Well,
something.
because of help, we couldn't keep enough help, but luckily, for whatever reason, right now, everything's good as far as that side of it goes. Now it goes to the other side, and we was 7 short. Luckily, we've just got 3 more. Let's say 2 out of the academy, we hired another one, so we're 4 short now. So it usually bounces back and forth, but it's usually the jail that's shorthanded, so. But fortunately, right now, we've got that taken care of, so thanks to all the employees that work back there and keep everything in line, and doing good advertising, trying to get people in there to work for us. So. All right, y'all ready for me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Line 105, supervisor. Me and Denny Wayne talked about a number. I didn't really know what to come up with as far as that goes. My biggest thing is, our biggest competitor as of right now is the city. And what they're paying, and of course, they're scouting our employees. It's just kind of a dog-eat-dog world when it comes to certified officers, because we all need help. Everybody's shorthanded. And, between losing them to other departments and losing them to discipline, that's what you run into. I've asked to match Sparta Police Department pay scale plus $1. Be competitive with surrounding agencies, step raises, bigger salary gap between the deputies and command staff. With overtime, a deputy makes more than the command staff.
So when you say supervisor,
That's people that's been there 15, 20 years, the command staff. That's the lieutenants, the captains, the majors.
Okay.
How many people?
5, I think. I think that's right. Right.
you said that would be lieutenants?
Look, 1 lieutenant, 2 majors, captain, and the chief. That's not counting the back now. That's just the sheriff's side. That's not counting the jail.
So we have,
Is the jail in the,
It's a
in the
different,
supervisor here, or is?
well, it's a different side. There's the sheriff's side and the jail
We
side.
probably need to clarify that,
Yeah,
just for the record.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, this
Right
is-
now, everything's just going to the sheriff's office, no jail
Okay,
discussion.
so this is the jail, right?
Yeah, we're talking certified officers here
Okay.
and admin staff. Like the people that work in the office, the ladies.
So we have a comparison for the city of Sparta. Do you have that?
I do not. I had it and I left it on my desk. I don't have it with
Should
me.
be your
You-
third.
yeah, it's in my file,
should be
okay,
your third-
right?
Should be your third sheet right there.
Yeah, Chad gave me a copy of it. Thank you, Chad.
So, I guess they have different, I guess they're calling their positions a little bit different, so would that be the assistant chief?
Yes.
On that side of things, like how can we compare the numbers that you're trying to get to, I guess is what I'm asking.
I mean, biggest thing for us with them is the years of service, when they top out completely. They have what we call step raises. After you've been there 5 years, you make this much. After you've been there 10 years, you make this much. That's what I'm wanting the county to do, the same thing.
Okay.
Because there needs to be a difference between the people that's been there 15 to 20 years and somebody's been there a year.
Right.
There's not much.
And it's just, you have right now, the pay scale is the pay scale. If your captain is making 24 and the patrol majors are making 25 and some change and so forth, so that's just, there's no variation of that, it's just what they get, that's what they are.
That's right.
Okay. I spoke with, Sheriff Ray today to get a pay scale for what, ask him how they do theirs.
I'm just trying to come up with something for the people to know what they're headed toward, you know, what they got to look forward to.
This is what he provided with me today, and I thought it was very interesting. It has the tiers.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I think that's what, the step raise, that's what you're talking about.
Yes,
Some-
yes.
He explained to me that there's 6 tiers, but he said it's an 8-year plan, so he said tier 1 through 4 is every year. And then tier 5 is 2 years and tier 6 is 2 years. So when you start, you're at tier 1, after the first year, you become tier 2, and 3, and so forth.
Right.
So you're getting those that's his step raise program. And then he said that each year, the tiers increase based on the state's salary increase for the sheriff. The state gives a raise, 3%, 5%, or whatever the
Right,
state
right.
mandates. Whatever percentage that is, he said those tiers go up as well. So that's kind of something that you're
Yeah, I just-
looking for.
Right. I'd like something in there to separate the people that's been there for several years versus people that's been there 6 months or a year. I mean, it just seems unfair for somebody that's been there 15 to 20 years to be making almost the same as somebody that's been there a year. You know, if they were on the same level, you know, as their jobs. I got deputies. How long you been there, Hilton?
10 years,
10 years.
going on 11.
You don't make much more than a 1-year deputy.
I make it's like 60 cents more than a deputy does.
Yeah.
You see how muddy my clothes are, I'm out there doing the job.
Yeah.
So you're starting all officers at top out pay, right?
If they have experience. I mean, that's just an attraction to get them there. You know, but we had to have some type of incentive to get them in. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, when I started, our pay is so much lower than everybody else's, or top out pay especially. You know, I mean, it's just kind of an incentive to get an experienced officer to come to us. Because right now, I mean, you're running people that's freshly out of the academy and, you know, that don't have very much experience at all, you know, and it's kind of, what do you want coming to you if you got a serious situation going on? Somebody fresh out of the academy or somebody with 10 years experience?
So how does your scale work with your start-out pay and top-out pay? How is that broke down?
I mean, within a year, they're topped out. They start out, I can't even tell you what, 19 something an hour. Start out, top out at 2040, I think it is. Yeah, 2041, yeah.
So if you look at DeKalb County's starting pay, an hour starting pay, it's only a $900 difference. But after the 8-year plan, it ends up being almost a $12,000 difference. So the starting pay is very, very close.
Right.
Because you're starting at the top out pay.
Yeah,
So I
but,
think,
and I don't wanna do that. I'd rather be able to put them on probation and say, hey, let's see if you're gonna work or not. But where we're at right now, we can't do that. I mean, it's just, you're doing all you can to get them to come there and work.
Right. So he has, his is listed as a patrol sergeant, for instance. Would that be, would you consider that to be the same line item that we've been talking about, your patrol captain, major, chief deputy, lieutenant?
Well, I mean, how he got it here, I think, like your patrol corporal, patrol deputy, patrol sergeant. Of course, your patrol sergeant makes quite a bit more than your patrol corporal, and quite a bit more than a patrol deputy, according to the tiers. But time they're topped out, there's not a lot of difference, other than the sergeant's gonna make more than just a standard patrol officer. We don't have corporals. I don't have that rank.
Okay. So your patrol deputies are making $20.41, and his patrol deputies start out at $20.84.
Yeah.
with the
That's
top-
my guy topped out at 2041.
Okay,
His guys are topped out
at 25.
2538.
So I'd mentioned a little bit when Kathy was here, I was kind of looking at numbers of 15%. So if your guy's making $20 an hour, at 15%, that's $3.
Yeah.
That would
And
give,
that's respectable.
That would
But I
be-
would just like the difference as far as the longevity.
Well,
I know you're talking longevity pay.
yeah,
We've talked about it, and that's something that would definitely separate, what your argument was.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
if we can give them an X amount per year, every year they're gonna get
Yeah.
an increase on that. And
Yeah.
that's really the easiest way for us to look at this and think, there's an incentive that maybe somebody else doesn't have,
Right.
and
Right.
that'll give them, the ones that have been here for 20 years, a nice paycheck every year, and the ones that are hopping from one department to another, they're never gonna see the longevity of that, or the.
Right. Right.
We also have the retention and recruitment grant, that if you come out of the academy uncertified, it's $8,000. But if we hire you and you've been from out of state or out of, in service for a year, you get $10,000. So that's gonna offset.
Within 3
what you
years.
guys, if that's what you guys end up doing, it's gonna offset the county's money by $10,000 per officer that's being hired also.
so that's just like a one-time bonus,
It's-
Yeah.
essentially. right?
Yeah, they get it.
It's over 3 years,
6 months,
right?
but yes, 3 year, you gotta think of this 3 years to either get the 8,000 or the 10,000.
Yeah.
But they'll get it 6 month,
And that's,
12 month, 24, 36.
and that's just incentives from the state to try to get people back in law enforcement, or stay in law enforcement. Cause I mean, it's
But
slim
that's an
pickings right
incentive from
now.
the states, that's not a reoccurring charge that we have to worry
Right,
about, that's just a
right.
gear.
No, y'all don't have to worry about it after, it's just a one-time thing.
But I'm sure that's available to every department statewide, though, that's not.
It's statewide.
Yeah, but I mean, like, my people that's there now, no one's gonna get it, is ones that just came there from other, got back into it, or from another state.
And I know we can't dive into every one of these line items as deep as this one, but I'm trying to think, I agree 100% that somebody that's been there 5, 10, 15, 20 years deserves more money.
Right.
There's no doubt.
Right,
I also look at it from the standpoint of the taxpayer being, if I want to go buy a cake, I can buy a cake from a person that's been making cakes for 3 years, or somebody's making cakes for 20 years. If I'm getting the same return on my dollar, why should there be a difference? So I'm trying to balance, I'm not arguing that that's the way it should be. If the service being provided by a 5-year person is the same service that's being provided by a 20-year person, I'm trying to justify this in my mind, how
well,
we,
it's the experience level,
Yeah.
to me, I mean, it's,
well, I agree, I'm not arguing that
Yeah.
that should be, I'm just saying, I'm trying to justify this, and I'm thinking longevity checks or something, and not so much tiered within the pay scale. I mean, I'm just throwing out ideas, I'm just trying to figure out how to.
We're trying to think of any way,
How to get that-
anything we can do to change the norm that has been going on.
Yeah.
Sheriff, last year, almost to the day, when you presented to us, you had 49 employees that their tenure had been between 1 and 3 years, 28, 4 to 10, and only 3, 11 to 15. Do you guys happen to know how,
Those are probably gonna be around.
They're
it's
about the
gonna
same.
be similar, right?
Yeah, they're similar.
Sheriff, you mentioned something about losing employees to the city. Do you, what other counties have you lost employees to just this last year?
Warren County, DeKalb County.
The retention at the 14-year marks.
I would dare say, and I'm sure I'm close, 98% of the people that work for the city came from the county. Were trained, put to the academy and trained by the county.
There's only about 4 that have.
Yeah.
Everybody else is working.
Well, their chief even worked with us. Well, now, we didn't send him to the academy, but we trained him, so. I mean, they're a bunch of great guys. I mean, and, you know, they're just like me. They need help too. I get it. I just want to be able to compete with them and say, hey, you can't have all my people. They won't stay here.
Based on call volume.
Yeah. Yeah, call volume for the city last year was 7,214 calls. Last year for the county is 23,449 calls. That's a big difference. A lot more work. Which I know we have more employees. I know all.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
how is that per employee call, how would that be divided up?
That's a tough one, Derek. It's according to what happens on the shifts. I mean,
No, but I mean, you've got call volume, what was your call volume?
23,449.
And theirs was how much, 7?
7214.
And how many employees do you have?
37 certified, counting detectives and command staff. We usually run 4 to 5 on the shift. And I think the numbers are going to drastically go up as many people as there are moving in here. That's another line item.
Do we know how many the police, or the city has?
I don't know. They run 2 or 3 per shift, right?
They run 3 shifts.
3
Unless they
shift.
have a power shift.
Yeah.
Like 12 post-certified.
How many y'all have? per
37.
Per shift,
40.
4 or 5. Counting the sergeant would be 5. If we're fully staffed, which lately has been rare over the past year.
So you're saying 4 for the whole county
Yes,
per
sir.
shift, okay.
Yeah,
And the city had what?
3 per shift. We have about 4 per shift, so, I mean, that's why there's so much running. You know, that's why the cars are staying wore out and staying in maintenance, and, I mean, you go, what's the city, a 3 or 4 mile radius compared to how many miles in the county?
Yeah,
A lot.
what about 3? About a 1 mile radius.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Y'all want me to move on now?
You guys wanna?
Yeah.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Of course, the next one was 106, that's the deputy line item. You know, we asked for, what is it? 1,392,053. That's the COLA. Pay scale, that's compared to the city plus $1.
You have the numbers? How many?
So your office, so on that line item, you've got, your officers at $20.41, and he has his officers at, well, you're 45,000 a year, and you're right in the middle for the office, for pro deputies. His low is 41 and high is 50, and you're at 45, so you're kind of in the middle of that.
Mhm. Y'all want me to move on?
Yeah, you,
All
sorry,
right.
sorry.
The next one is gonna be the SRO, 402,320. We've asked for, of course, Matt Sparta PD with their deputies, our officers. Right now, that's still a grant paid by the state, their salaries are.
How does that grant, is it coming in with step raises each year?
Yes. Well, I mean, it will, whatever we raise it up, won't it cover whatever,
It's 75,000 per school.
yeah.
So you can actually pay them $75,000 a year salary. I just don't have any money for equipment, training, or whatever. I mean, there's some agencies in the state, but that's, the whole grant's just salary to them. But we get paid so little, I'm able to buy cars with the money that's actually surplus of the money that we get per school. So whatever you end up making their salary a year, if it's under the 75, that's no big deal. It won't touch our county,
Yeah, it'll still be paid by the grant.
still pay by the grant.
You said you can buy cars with it, but there was a grant for that last year, right?
Yeah, that's what we bought those cars with, what was left over.
Okay.
What was left over,
Okay.
Yeah,
which helped a ton, I mean, because they were driving teetotal junk.
yeah.
All right,
Steve, do you care, I'm sorry, do you care if we go back to 106?
sure.
There's a note here, in addition to the COLA, there's a note here to add deputies.
I've asked for 4 additional deputies for the county, for
So-
each shift.
So you're adding one per shift?
Yes,
is
one
what
per
you're
shift,
willing to do.
yeah.
How long has it been since we added a deputy?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't remember. It's been a while.
One
I
per
couldn't
shift.
tell you.
How many,
That's 4, we run 4 shifts.
4 shifts a day?
No,
Oh.
It's two a day, and then it changes to the next
Gotcha.
A shift and B shift, yeah.
Yeah.
I just, with all the people moving in, as many calls as we're answering, I mean, there's a lot of calls it's just hard for us to even get to, because but I know it's hard to fill them right now, but if we could get them all filled, it would be fantastic to have extra hands there with us.
That was the question I was gonna ask you. If you're short-staffed, and you've been short-staffed, if we add additional, is it gonna help? Because you can't get,
Well, we'll
You
get
get
them there.
full.
I think if we do a decent raise, guys, I think we'll have people coming to us. And plus, I'll be sending more to the academy. Right now, there's a grant to pay for the academy. That will probably eventually go away. We've asked in this budget, I'll go ahead and say this line item, 356, we've asked for $5,000 to try to send to a different academy, because you can't hardly get people into it. Since it's paid for by the state, the only one they pay for is Toledo, right?
Yes.
So that's where we've been trying to send them. You just can't get people in it. I got one in there right now, and was lucky to get him in.
are you transitioning your jailers
Yes.
to deputies?
Yes.
Is that the,
Yes. I take them
Transition.
from the jail, and I send them, I go off the recommendations of the command staff in the jail, people they think would fit for a deputy, and we interview them, put them through the process, and they have to run the obstacle course for us and everything. We test them really well before we send them. But that's what we do there. That's why we're asking on that line for $5,000, so we can, Knoxville has an academy that we can send them to. There's 2 or 3 other places we can send them, but we gotta pay for it ourselves. I don't wanna do that either. If I can't get them in and we need help that bad,
is there, seems like that would be some help, we could get some help on the state level to open up. If everybody's getting the grant to get
why
certified,
does it have to be Toledo? man?
That's the grant.
That's just
It
what the
has to
grant's
be-
for, Toledo.
Toledo is the state's academy,
Yeah,
so it's all being funded through there. And so the reason why we're asking for that 5,000 again is we used to have an academy line. But since we started getting the academy free, we moved that money to our training line. But now it's like we need to send somebody to the academy like now, but we can't because they're 3-4 classes out. Like we were trying to put somebody in right now, it might be January of next year, maybe September or something like that. But so having that option to be able to send them to another academy would help, so we can get an officer on the road faster.
what's the cost per, is it
I think the one in
5,000?
Knoxville is 3,000,
We
correct?
just got a quote today, it's 3,000 for the one that's in Knoxville,
How long is it?
12 weeks.
12 weeks.
So in that line 356, it probably needs to be a derivative of 3,000.
At least, yeah.
3,
Yeah.
6, or,
Yeah.
If we could make it 6,000, it'd be great, we could send two at the same time.
That'd be separate from our normal training line.
Yeah.
That's set for other training. Like I said, we used to have that line. And
Right.
we removed it because it was just sitting there, not being used.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm wondering if we can't get some help from the state level. If, obviously, there's a huge need for new deputies and getting certified, and the state is bottlenecked at this one place, if we
Right.
can,
That's where everybody sends them, is to
That's where-
Toledo.
You have to, or the grant won't cover it.
Yeah.
right.
But it'd be nice.
So therefore, everybody's sending, everybody they can get in there, they're bottlenecking them in there, trying to,
State's not looking on that, they get TBI agents out of that academy, and have to send them back to school.
yeah.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
saves them in the future.
True.
All right, I'll move on.
okay. Do you guys have specific questions on 160 or 340? If not, we'll go down to 307, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Communication, this money would be to, get jetpacks for our detectives, so they can, use their laptops on the scene and in the cars. And 2 smartphones for the deputies on the drug task force. They currently have flip phones. I mean, they need those smartphones in order to be able to look up the drugs that they're dealing with, first pills and stuff like that.
Have you found a jetpack that'll work everywhere in the county?
Nope. No, but it helps. I mean, you can get certain places and then
No, I
they will help, so. All right. Move on.
As we move to the backside here, this is a request from our finance director to lay out 5 years in total, right? So we're looking at projects from 2026 to 2030. So when you start your first 2 there at the top, you're looking at fiscal year 27. You guys, are you okay to dive into these while we got him here?
Some of the vehicle fleet program?
Yeah, so the first 2 at the top and the 2 at the bottom are fiscal year 27. So we're a year ahead on these conversations, but while we got him here, if you guys want to.
Well, I mean, you know, I know it's a sore subject about the fleet program. I know it would, from what we've studied and understood, it would save quite a bit of money. I mean, that's what we think. I mean, I know y'all said it's a reoccurring bill, but if you look at it, the fleet program would give us 10 cars. What we're paying for 3 cars, we can get 10. And we're over 300% right now on repairs on our old fleet, on our maintenance budget. Of course, we've asked for 6 patrol cars. Y'all seen the pricing for the equipment and everything on those, right?
I got a question about that is, and I don't mean disrespect, but I'm just saying, if those cars are wrecked at will, are they just replaced?
Well, insurance pays for them, and then we do the best we can to find another good quality car with that money they give us.
I can't replace with the same amount of money of a car's worth.
Right.
So you've got your repairs at over 300%. So what you're saying, if to outfit one patrol car is $84,000, right? Is that what I'm?
That's the car and outfit and all.
That's the car and outfit's $84,000.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're saying 3/8 is 24, so we're spending $240,000 per car?
No.
No, I mean, you said, or the repairs and maintenance are up over 300%. It's not 300% per vehicle, it's just.
No, that's 300% for the whole fleet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just, a lot of these cars got 150,000 miles on them.
How
I
much
mean,
we're
that's-
above the line item, the budgeted?
Yeah, and that includes body shop work too that we've done.
Yeah.
We've actually got insurance money for it offset.
Yeah.
But that all comes out.
Of course, we try our best not to wreck them, but y'all know what I know, it's gonna happen if you're out there and in that stuff.
So this isn't a request for, this looks like a request for next year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yes.
I think, I remember you presented, Nate presented a fleet,
Yeah,
I think, 2 years, 3 years ago. I think I was running for commissioner, I wasn't a commissioner, I think, when you presented that. I think that's a pretty in-depth conversation, that if this is something that you're wanting to do for 26, we need to start, let's get through budget this year and spend some time on it in the fall.
There's several other options too, to go with, not just that one that you've been presented with, where it's, the price of one car being through.
Yeah. We started our, not training sessions, what we have, work sessions. We had several work sessions we started in November. I thought those were very helpful for us to get started for this. I think that would be something we need to start talking about, maybe November this year, to get ready for next year. September.
yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to say about the lease program, the comptroller's office recognizes that as debt. It has to be, not only approved by us, has to be approved by the comptroller's office. That will affect our bond ratings, and so forth. So there's more to it than.
That's one of the things that I thought we
And
needed to
I
work
don't know
out.
if that's right or wrong, but that's the way they look at it. It is considered, it is considered.
My
debt.
question with that was, is it considered debt with that? Because we're gonna be holding on to those leases.
It's considered debt.
Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, let's,
All right. The next one is update old computers at the Justice Center, that per IT, they have an end life on 10/8/25 due to not being able to upgrade to Windows 11. That $5,000 network at $3,000, $8,000.
If they start working it in October, won't they need to be replaced before
Oh, yeah,
26?
yeah, yeah. He's just telling us, and that the computers we have will not upload Windows 11. I don't know why, I don't know all that IT stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I would think that would need to be done.
Yeah, it needs to be done sooner than that.
you'd have to make it.
Well, I guess as soon as it's approved, we can get them working on it, or whatever y'all want to do.
Mr. Morgan, can we make a notation maybe to have that moved up to fiscal year 26? That-
Yeah, and just, my interpretation of this was that everything except for the one in the middle was for fiscal year 26. Even though it says 26, 27, I think that was my interpretation of that, so.
Yeah, that
I
needs to
think
be
that's
probably a
how
couple
you-
months of.
That's
up from
probably how you
that.
ought to look at those, is the
So
first
this is
two and
gonna be
last two are this
25,
budget year.
26.
Yeah,
Everything we need to bring back a year.
Okay.
Okay.
all right, moving on.
Well,
Update.
can I go back?
Yeah,
Sheriff,
Yeah.
on the 6 patrol cars at 84, if I remember last year, there was different cost per vehicle depending on what you had. So this 84, what is that cost based on? Is that a?
what is
Well,
it,
is it-
Durango?
I gave a quote to Chad for this, and I don't know if you have those or not. But
They're in your
for-
packet.
They're in
It's in
this.
fact, yeah, Dodge Charger, Explorer, Durango, Chevy Patrol Truck, and Chevy Dodge Ram.
But at this point, though, you can't get the Ford Explorers. That's the preferred safest vehicle, according to statistics, but you can't hardly get them. Even the state's moving on to Dodge Chargers and Durangos. I think that, am I wrong by saying that the Durangos and Chargers are a little cheaper than the Ford Explorers
A
now?
little bit, so the Durango,
How far is that?
let me get you the total price here.
It's in that.
In that big.
Highlighted.
The 25 Dodge Durango is $51,195.
All the vehicles. And I think to Commissioner Hutchins' question, maybe I think what he's, if I understand what he's, if I'm thinking what he's getting at, is, are we looking at patrol vehicles, or are we talking about admin vehicles?
No, these are patrol
Last year,
vehicles.
those were
Standard,
split.
Patrol
Before you do
vehicles.
anything to it,
Cause that's how we had a difference in
Yeah.
price
Yeah.
this year's, Derek, because we had an admin and,
Yeah.
I think that may be what he's asking.
The
Yeah.
Ford, the
Yeah.
Ford Explorer is $49,765. That's where you do anything to it, it's gonna be a patrol version or an admin version. That's state contracted price.
That's if you can get them.
Yeah. I mean, we should be able to, but
I know, Sheriff, I'm sorry, I noticed you get at least one truck, maybe more.
Yeah.
Is that an option? Are y'all interested in that at all? Is it good?
I'm okay with trucks, I mean, because they come in handy and they're as usable as anything else.
I would think the resale on those would be.
Yeah.
the
minimal
resale
hire.
will be a whole lot better.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or they
because
can roll off to the county, to be used.
very
You
long.
know, highway department. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that than, you know,
I mean, I want to do what makes more sense.
Yeah.
You know, what's best for the county is what I want to do on that, I mean, as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
here's the other truck.
Yeah, so
I
we've
try to
got,
give several options.
okay, I think, so,
Why have we moved away from just patrol cars?
Well, the cars, unless they're all-wheel drive, there's a lot of places in this county we just can't get in those, like the Crown Vic rear-wheel drives. And I mean, it's trying to put us in a more usable vehicle. The cars are just not that usable when you're having to get out in the fields and stuff like that, which we have to do often.
The Chargers bottom out, I mean, everyone here's probably been in one.
I've drove a Charger for 2 years, and it's bottomed out in almost every driveway in the county. Ripped stuff out from the bottom of it and everything.
The cars are just,
They're
a
not,
lot of driveways that are rock and stuff, they just,
Yeah.
you can't get in them.
The SUVs and the trucks are just so much higher up. And you know what I know, SUVs, like Denny Wayne's talking about, with a resale or a truck, bring a lot more than them old cars. A Crown Vic now is worth what, maybe $1,500 after we get the best of it?
The one sale the other day for $1,200.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. I know it's a big expense and we want the best bang for our buck, so I'm okay with whatever, you know.
If we can roll with Jerry or Doug, that's what we would love to be able to do, after we've had our service out of them.
I haven't got to pick up. What's the,
Well, that's right there, it's the next one over.
There's a Chevrolet going in Dodge.
what's the, oh, wait, there's too many pages here.
There's another. Keep going. There you go.
So we're looking at 45 to 50,000, no matter how you slice and
Right.
dice it, if that's just, am I,
Question, I just happened to notice here, one of the, options on the, this is the, Ford F-150.
Mhm.
5G mobile hotspot is part of the,
But you gotta pay for that service.
It's usually free for like the first year.
yeah, I was just wondering how that compared.
Then they jack you up on it.
Yeah, but I was wondering how that compared to the, what was that
The
term?
hotspot?
Hotspot?
Yeah.
So our Axon dash cams that we purchase with grant money, will put the cradle points in our vehicles. So we actually are getting the Wi-Fi with those purchases. So when we buy an Axon dash cam system, we're getting that with it. But it's specifically for that car. Where he was requesting for the decades, they don't have those in their vehicles. They don't have cradle points in their vehicles.
Yeah, they get a lot of used cars from patrol or whatever.
Any other question on the fleet program specifically?
Yeah, feel free to call me and say, hey, Steve, come over, let's talk more about these cars or whatever, I mean,
I have a
anytime's
feeling-
fine.
Yeah, I have a feeling there'll be a separate conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
On this. Are you guys okay? Just move on?
just vehicle, like the pickup trucks, primarily, I don't know much about it, but primarily I've seen SUVs and patrol cars is upfitting a truck. or car.
Same expense.
It's the same expense.
About
Is there
same
any
expense, yeah.
issues, safety or issues or anything that comes out of a pickup truck versus a car or
Not
putting
that-
inmates in there or anything like that? I mean,
No, as
just-
long as we got the cage in them, I mean, they're the same, should be the same.
There's a lot of counties
city just got a new truck
They're
they're using now too, so. Don't ask
Having
me
the
why,
trucks
but they did.
for special events and stuff really help for moving, like we've got those 2 tents that we have, we can't put them in our cars, they're too big, so having a truck to haul stuff, or
I guess you're-
search warrant, something like that, we've done a bunch of items or something like that.
But you're losing trunk storage and back storage for your extra guns or things or whatever you carry.
The way they do them now, they'll do a split cage, so the back passenger side will be for prisoner transport, the other side is open for the officer to have storage and, gun racks and stuff like that. Then you can also do, rolling storage that rolls out from the truck bed.
Yeah.
The bed cover, not the bed covers, but the
Yeah,
lockable storage
It'll raise
boxes.
the truck bed like this much, but you can roll out
Yeah.
and have weapons wherever you
Sure.
comes, wherever it is. I mean, you can do a full shell on it, but then if you're doing a shell, then you might as well just get an SUV.
Move on?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yeah, let's hit those bottom two, the
Okay.
Tennessee Public Safety Network and
all right.
ADP time.
That is just support for the officers, that when they've been in a bad situation and shooting or something like that. It's just to help them get some counseling and stuff like that. That's what that's for. The next one,
Also says too, it used to be free, for years it's been free.
yeah, now they charge you.
They're now requesting $1,500 based on our population size.
It looks like that's just a membership fee
Yeah.
that'll cover all
Yeah.
your department, right?
Yeah. All right, moving on, our next one, the current ADP time management system is no longer supported. There's now an upgrade available, it's $12,000.
All right, I think that takes us to the jail side.
Yep.
Sheriff, do you guys have anybody that's CISM trained, critical incident stress management? Anything?
Are you, Mike's reserve officer for me. All right, moving on, maintenance personnel, we're asking for increased maintenance helper position up to same pay as correctional deputies. 'Cause they actually make less than correctional deputies. This position is certified through TCI and the deputies overlap. Duties overlap, I'm sorry. Currently, the helper position is taking up a corrections deputy spot. That corrections would gain that spot back if we could make another position for maintenance. And I tell you, our jail is, 22 years old now? And Bobby stays as busy as he can be, and the other guy too. I mean, they're getting work orders like crazy to just keep the jail going, and fixing the things that need to be fixed.
So just make sure I understand right, that second position is currently working.
Yeah, it's actually a correctional officer's position
and you've had
that's
to pull
working
it
maintenance.
down.
We've had to pull it to get Bobby the help. Move on.
Yeah, let's go down to clothing.
441, prisoner clothing, 15, go from 15, 25 to 20 for 26. Increase total due to overall cost. This line pays for everything purchased for inmates issued property. Next one would be guards, step raises, COLA, same thing. I mean, bigger salary gap between the deputy and command staff. This will help retention and add third maintenance worker. That's the same thing on 60, right? Kevin, that what we said? Yeah, on 160, the guards, basically the same thing. I'll go ahead and do 160 while I'm talking about it. Add one ranking position for training sort commander at the rank of sergeant or lieutenant, conducting more trainings now more than ever as required by the state. The sort commander would continuously search the facility while trainings aren't being conducted. Y'all believe it or not, there's so much that gets in that jail no matter what we do. You got a almost $700,000 scanner back there and they can still get dope in. Don't ask me how. I mean, we do everything we can possibly do to stop that and prevent fights and stop people from breaking out, but somehow or another, they always find a way. When you ain't got nothing but time on your hands, you can sit there and think of things. Yeah, that was in the training for the jails. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to 187 now, overtime pay, 30 to 35,000, due to continued usage. I mean, we're just, I hope if we can get fully staffed and maybe add these other four we're asking for are in the jail, this is for the jail. We stay fully staffed and get everything working the way it should, maybe we can cut some of that out, but as of right now, we have to use it a lot. When people call out, somebody has to work overtime, and it happens a lot. All right. 105?
Yeah.
Supervisor and director, step raises, cost of living. Well, we're on the last one, right? Is that what y'all got?
Yep.
Our Sally Port doors are just constantly tearing up. We have to work on them all the time. So we're just asking to replace the Sally Port doors. There's 4 of them back there.
And this is a request for fiscal year 27, is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that right, Jeff?
26, 27, yeah.
For next year?
Of course, they've been there pretty well 20 years, 22 years, so they're just wearing out.
It's just, yeah, new port first. Oh, okay,
You know,
all right, that was a big bite to chew. You guys have any other questions for?
I want to recognize one thing, y'all, if y'all don't mind real quick. You know, we got, last year, Nate and Kevin, we were working together. We got $2,687,621.82 in grants, which is so helpful to the county. You know, and so appreciated. I just wanted to recognize Nate for doing that good work for us, and Kevin and Will. I mean, they work hard to get us what we need to keep going and not cost no more money than we have to, as long as it's out there. And I don't know if they're going, you never know when they're going to cut the grants out, so.
I have 3 questions for you.
Okay.
I know you're struggling to get deputies, patrol deputies. How many do we have that live out of county, that drive vehicles home that live out of county?
Yeah. That, we have, count them up, Nate. I can get you, I definitely.
We get you 150.
Yeah,
Just off the top of my
I
head.
didn't think nothing about getting that.
At least 12, or 10 to 12.
In general, is there a rule of thumb of the next county over, some form or fashion?
Yeah, next county
They
over.
can take the patrol car home if they live in the next county out. Touching County.
That's just an incentive to get them to work for us, you know.
I know there was a line item, it was a part-time correction officer that had not been filled in a few years. There was some discussion about.
That's on the sheriff's side.
That's on the sheriff's side. And so that is already figured into your budget currently. If that's not gonna be filled, can we go ahead and do away with that? Like, how can we restructure that and absorb that in some of these other pay? It is filled now?
Part-time patrol deputy is filled currently.
Okay. I know there was some discussion about dissolving it last year and changing some pay structures. That
For
was,
several years, it's been empty, and we finally able to.
Yeah, we got Ryan Melanson to come back and work part-time.
okay,
Yeah, we had a previous deputy come work,
Yeah.
come back.
okay. Last question. When you come to our work session, we were talking about several things. After you left, we had talked tonight, we had several discussions about the animal shelter, how we're gonna restructure and redo that. The feedback that we're getting from the people that are working down there at the shelter, the volunteers, the county needs to, I guess, regulate or enforce I guess, the rules for the animal, the, whatever, writing tickets, whatever you want to call it. Would there be any interest in moving that line item over to the sheriff's department, like restructuring the whole animal shelter totally?
We can talk about it. I'm not big on it. I know it's a pain.
Well, it's,
I know it is.
I guess my thought is there's part-time employees and just employees that work down there that feed and take care of the dogs. I didn't know if, I mean, I'm happy we have the budget to do it. I'm, like, if we transferred that to you, if inmates could do that, that would have some idle time off of them. They wouldn't be, they would have something to do maybe, and then that would be additional income you could have potentially for other things, because you're not having to pay an employee to do that.
We can talk about it. I'm not gonna say yes yet, being honest.
Sure.
I know I've heard a lot of crap about that animal shelter. Are you gonna build a new one, or what's the plan?
Well, that's, I mean, that's where we're, that's the whole
And where
thing
would you
is.
put it?
Well, that's why I'm
Where do you
floating.
live?
Huh?
Where do you live?
You better shut up there.
I mean, that's why we're trying to, there's a lot of moving parts on that. Where are we gonna move it to? What's gonna happen?
Are we gonna be
Is it-
animal control, or are we
Well, I
gonna be
mean,
an animal?
you know, I would have to say, I would agree that it needs to be, if possible, a post-certified officer that writes the tickets and deals
Yeah,
with
'cause
the animals.
That seems like the disconnect. We talked about it, and that's the disconnect.
I relayed to him what we had talked about.
Yeah, it's, Mike is he's a good dog catcher, but he can't write tickets, and,
Right.
and you call him and you get somebody calls me and complains because their dog, well, he can go knock on the door, but there's no teeth, there's no stick. It's just a carrot of, hey, put your dog up or whatever. And that's what, we're having to sort through a whole lot of things, but that was, are we gonna be an animal control or animal shelter?
I think you,
Control is.
yeah, I
I
think
think
you had
it's
that control.
always meant to be controlled.
It does.
Control, not
It
his.
does.
Volunteers turned it into a shelter. That's plain and simple.
It
We
needs to
were
be
always
controlled.
just animal
Control,
control.
yeah.
Because you got people who go out here and get 15, 20 dogs when they done been told once not to do it again,
Yep.
and they keep doing it,
Yeah,
and then they wind up everywhere. And then that's where we had to get involved in a lot of
Yeah.
citations and stuff like that.
I think the consent, well, I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm leaning more towards control as shelter, and, you're not gonna have 100 dogs, you're gonna have
Well,
to,
the county has no business being in the animal
Shelter.
shelter business.
I agree with you.
Animal control, safety for the public,
Yep.
that's it.
yeah.
I mean,
So-
if somebody wants to
If-
start a 401(c) and do humane things for dogs, that's
Yeah.
great, but
I agree.
that's
If we-
not the business. for
If we structured a control, not shelter, would that be something that we could have a
Yeah,
conversation
Let's
about?
talk about it. Let's sit down and talk.
Good.
I mean, we can, sure to goodness, all of us can figure out something to do and to make it better,
I appreciate that. I think we
Yeah.
can make it better.
yeah. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
We just gotta fix things and make it better. I mean, y'all know what I know. That's been an ongoing problem for a long time.
It's getting worse.
It is.
Yeah.
Because people won't listen. When it comes to animals, they just think, well, I see this little beautiful dog, I'm gonna get it. I done got 10 at the house, but one more ain't gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Talked to a lady today, had 10 cats. You gotta do something about the cats too, not just dogs.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
y'all.
Thank you very much.
You guys want to entertain a motion for a 5-minute recess?
I was gonna ask for two, but I'll take five.
Let's do 3.
Okay.
Entertain a motion?
Motion.
Motion second, all in favor?
All right, yeah.
All thankful.
Mike, thank you, appreciate that.
All right, we'll call the meeting back to order. Mr. Mike Kerr, our EMS director,
All right,
is
appreciate
up
you.
next. You can just take off with the first line if you want to, and we'll stop you.
I appreciate you guys letting me come. Make it a lot simpler if you just take what the sheriff gave you and throw it to the side. You don't really need that stuff.
All this hostility between the departments, I don't.
And we all get along,
One
so-
another.
So, you should have stayed and backed me up here.
Who would we call if Kathy flogged the sheriff?
The city.
The city.
Yeah, we're in the city. That's what we're gonna go with. All right, so I'm not sure what, is my front page what
I
y'all?
think we're looking at.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so as for two, I know last year you guys gave us another crew, and that's been a big help. It's been a big help. It's cut down our overtime. Chad, do you have any idea what that?
I don't right off the top of my head on that.
But it's been a big help with people. We were wearing them out. Our night crews would get called out of town, we'd have to call in a day crew. Every 2 or 3 times a night. So, I mean, it's helped tremendously with people. But then again, our call volume's still going up. I know we ain't got enough call volume for 2, so that's why I asked for 1 per shift. That's, 2 total trucks, 1 per shift. And it'd be kind of like a split in between. Like what a big problem we run into now is if the hospital, St. Thomas Highlands, is owned by St. Thomas in Nashville, St. Thomas Rutherford, their beds don't open up till 6, 7 o'clock. So our busiest call times, and we went back and searched it, our ESO program will tell us all of our call volumes when our busiest hours are. I put down here from 1 to 1, it was just a guess. When I went back and done the math, it was 10 to 10 was our busiest times. And, as you found out with one of your constituents, we run a lot of out-of-town calls. We have the 2 nursing homes, we'll call and schedule doctor's appointments. We have dialysis. We always have at least 1 person that we're hauling to dialysis, and usually we get 1, it's 2 or 3. So we've always got something that gets us there during that time frame. That's when the doctor's appointments are. And this would help with the doctor's appointment during the day, then this person would be up for the first out-of-town call, come 5 o'clock. Because now, they call at 6:30, we got a crew that's been there for 11 and a half hours, going 4 hours in Nashville, overtime. Or we have to call in another crew from the night shift to cover it, and then you got 2 trucks at night, and then we're calling somebody in to cover the next out of town. So that's where that truck I want to look at that truck if we could do it. Just be a big help still our call volume, we're still, even adding that extra truck, we're still the busiest ambulance service in the Upper Cumberland by numbers per truck. We're back up, we dropped about 400 last year, we went, 68, 6,900, about 400 or 500 calls last year, but we're back up right now on pace to run over 7,000 again. So again, even with that extra truck, we look at Warren County, they're running 8,000 with 5 trucks. DeKalb's running 2,500 with 3 trucks. Van Buren's running 1,000 to 1,200 calls with 2 trucks. So, again, that's just something that helps us. It helps the people. It gives them a little bit of a break so they're not on the road so much.
You've got a cost associated with this,
Yes.
and obviously we have to have a cost. But if we're calling these people in from the prior shift and stuff, I mean, is that not gonna be offset some?
Yes, it will be offset some. Right now, we're a little shorthanded, we have to use full-time people to cover. So it's kind of hard to see how much we really save. Can you help me there, Chad? Maybe you can explain it better.
Yeah, I mean, you would, if we're not running as much overtime, it's kind of like if you have a full staff, then your overtime goes down typically. In the sheriff's department, we see that with the EMS too, and so.
And it's the same with this truck. We're not sending those people out, because the hospital, and William works nights, he can tell you, and Derek days, it's always 6 o'clock, 6:30, 6:45, or right at 7. Because Nashville doesn't clean their beds out until late in the afternoon, and then that's when they got permission to admit this patient at 10 o'clock in the morning, and at 6:30 at night before they decide they want to send it. Or 10 o'clock, they were going to send them to Nashville, and at 5:30, 6 o'clock, they become an emergency, and then we, dump it off on us to,
But at the end of the day, when it's all said, end of the year, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
We're probably, the only thing we're really gonna be out is probably the vehicles. and-
yes, vehicles and fuel, yeah.
Yeah, well, the fuel would be, we'd still be burning the fuel anyway, we're just
Right.
gonna have another.
Right. And we're wearing trucks,
Trucks.
we're wearing trucks out.
Gonna cut you.
Yeah.
A lot of our maintenance out, a lot of our hours, yes.
How's your shifts broken? Is it just,
We work 12 hours on the day from 7 to 7, 12 hours at night from 7 PM to 7 AM. They work 7 days in a row, then they're off 7 days.
and you said your call volume is right at quitting time?
That's when we get out of town.
When you get out of town calls, which is causing some of the,
Right. Our busiest times is from
Yeah.
10 AM to 10 PM.
so, I guess,
Why not change
yeah,
it?
could you change your shift hours? That was where I was going with that.
But we're still gonna look at the same, you're still gonna have them going out of town at the same time, you're still gonna be sending the truck out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost be.
I know what you're saying, it's just not coming at, mainly, it's not
Run
coming
a truck
at you
that
in
goes from
shift.
10 to 10 instead of 7 to 7, and then cut that truck out after 10 PM, but that wouldn't work either.
At the end
Well,
of the day-
I mean, if you've got guys that are, and I guess everybody's gonna have overtime, but I was just thinking, if your guys are running, they've run 12 hours and it's 6:30 and they're getting called to go to Nashville, I mean, like you said, that's 4 more hours on the shift for them, and they're going
Right.
16 hours, like that's,
But then if you bring in a night truck to make that call, then now you've only got 2 trucks on nights, you're gonna call that crew right back in to cover them.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, you've got X amount of people that you've got to transport X amount of miles. No matter how you divide the shift.
No matter how you divide those times up, you're gonna get the
Still got
same,
the same-
same thing at the end
Are
of the
you
shift.
having
But I know,
trouble
I was thinking the same thing.
getting paramedics?
Yes.
Okay. Is Montlow not helping that out or anything with other classes?
One, maybe 2 employees from Motley. Most of ours come from Ball State.
Where are they going, Montrose?
Most of their students are from somewhere else.
To be honest,
Gallatin.
most of the clinical people we see coming from Montville are firefighters at Murfreesboro.
Gallatin, Murfreesboro, somewhere.
I know, we just got a big grant and had a bunch of them went through, but that's a one-time deal. That's not gonna happen again. That's why I was curious. I know they just pushed a big class through and they're doing another one right now, but it's over after that. They're not doing it again, so.
I know there's several over there that we get that are from Putnam County, that are full-time employees at Putnam County that they're putting through also.
And Putnam's got their own school. They're doing their own EMT and AEMT school. And if they'll sign up for 600 hours, they pay for their tuition. So we get none of the students. You know, when the state set this up, it was to help all the counties get people.
Well, it's just asinine that Montlow's got a campus in Sparta and not very many of them work for White County
Yeah,
EMS.
typically, the only ones we get is ours that decide to go there. You know.
All I can think of, Mike, is we've got one in paramedic school now.
Now.
At Montville, and we got one full-time that went to paramedic.
Toledo, which would
Yeah, Kylie's on the line.
be- Got one.
the vehicle, so you need 2 new vehicles, right, along with the
We-
shifts?
We have enough right now to cover it,
Okay? It's just
but that
that
leaves us none.
no spares,
No
no
spares.
backups.
And think about it, we've got 2 coming that's been ordered since
Since for 3 years.
September.
Yeah, I remember, that's what I was gonna ask.
And
We
didn't you
upfitted,
rebox the truck?
We got that in the last budget. They haven't called to send them yet.
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah,
that
then-
got approved in September. September, was it September?
Yes, September.
Yeah, 'cause it was-
We got the bid in September 20-something.
yeah, that was why I was
And
asking.
then those trucks will be gone for 18 months before they come back redone. We got 2 brand new ones coming in December if they don't push it back again, that we ordered 23.
We need to get a truck to do.
22.
No, I'd say
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was the?
So by the time you get it back in 18 months, the other trucks are gonna need.
Yeah, we've got,
Yeah, that was.
a 2016's got 300,000 miles,
And those were,
and then it goes down.
was it 3?
Could you say that again?
We've got a 2016 model truck that's got 200, right at 300,000, 200, almost 290,000.
Yeah.
195, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's your the highest mileage.
Yes, then the rest of them are right at it.
Okay.
And once they hit 300,000, we have to start inspecting them twice a year from the state, which
Yeah,
is
you
more.
got, that changes
more income.
everything.
And we used to, when we changed that resolution last year, it said we couldn't have over 100,000 miles on them. So we've blowed that way out. Now we went to, was it unlimited miles, and just as long as they was past inspections. So that's the reason, like I said, we're asking for that extra set of trucks, or crews is a better,
2 trucks and 4 members, which is
Yes.
2 per truck.
yes, 2 per truck. And we figured that critical care paramedic pay, which is kind of, it's never that. It'll be an advanced EMT and a paramedic, or an advanced EMT and a critical care. So it won't be quite, I'm telling that right, Chad?
Yeah.
It'll never be that. We would love for it to be that whole 304,000, but we never get that. We've had it one time, and I think we're the only one in Upper Cumberland that ever did it once. It got all paramedic.
So if we, but you said the trucks are still out, so if we order them now.
We're still in the cycle.
Yeah, we'd still.
The
be
ones
2
we're
years.
ordering now is gonna be 2 years out getting them,
2 years out,
but
yeah.
we're expecting some to come in.
Right. Which would give us 2 extra. Come December, we should have 2 extra trucks, which would be our backups. Which would put our backups, it's gonna be covering those 2 that go to get remanded frontline trucks, and those 2 new ones that come in, and those will go back to backup trucks.
We have to do that. I mean, you have to have a rotation to keep that going.
Yes, and what kind of got us a little bit behind, when I took over, we had 6 trucks. All 6 of them was different companies, different brands. None of them was the same. There wasn't nothing in any truck the same. If you didn't work in that truck, you had to go in the back of that truck, you had to call and figure out where the stuff was. Because none of the shelves were the same, nothing was the same. And before I come, Billy Price, who was the director then, had ordered 2 new Bronze. So when we got those 2, we got the idea that we would, instead of remounting a truck every year, we would save that money and order a brand new truck every 2 years, which worked out good. We got new trucks. Well, now it's taking us so long to get these trucks, we've worn them out.
Yeah.
So now we're in that shape, we're going to have to catch up to get some trucks. And we'll bring that up when we start talking about the truck cost here, how we got an idea to try to slow that down too. Again, secretary, we have no secretary. And this person would do more than just clerical work. Right now, I do all the clerical work, I do the ordering. Anything in the office, I do it, and try to, work on the trucks, work on the radios, and it takes a lot of time, So this person would be taking care of that. They'd be doing my paperwork, ordering, stocking, basic cleaning, answering the phones. And we always try, we had a secretary before that did the billing, Ray does that now. Again, the increase in calls, that's not an option to use that person for anything other than doing the billing, the pre-billing. Forgot where I was going with that. So where I was going with that, is we try to make that person an EMT, advanced EMT, so that if we have a call, the trucks are busy, I have somebody I can take out with me. This is somebody that we grow, we teach them how to work it, we teach them how to do runs, they see how to do runs, they see how to work the trucks, and then this person usually moves up onto a truck. Then we send them to paramedic school, and then we get an employee out of it. Then we hire somebody again, start over again. Not hard to teach somebody to answer the phone. But if they can answer calls, they learn how to do calls, they learn how to do paperwork, and then we move them up as they grow and they decide they want to go out on the truck, we put them out on the truck, we hire somebody else, secretary, so.
I just want to emphasize that the paperwork done by EMS is so strategically important because that's how we get paid. One wrong code, one wrong typo, and.
No face sheet, wrong insurance.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, you need somebody that's not got their mind on something else.
and it's hard to teach a person who doesn't know anything about medical, how to do medical stuff. It's a lot easier when you got somebody that's got some medical training. And again, I said, that's our way of trying to grow an employee.
How does the money flow back through? Like if we're adding another shift, another person, another crew to do these medical runs, is there certain things that pay more than others that would help offset some of the cost, or that we're?
Critical care transports and vent transports pays us almost $1,000 a call, where a normal call is what's the new rate, 420 something? No, 224 for a basic call, 3 something for an advanced call, paramedic calls like 400 and something, but a critical care call will get us about 1,000. That's why we pay critical care paramedics more money. And a lot of calls that we can, if we put the right wording, we can make a critical care call even though there wasn't an event or whatever. It's just, if we word it right, we can get more money out of it.
Right.
We make money this year, Chad. I know we were,
Yeah, I mean,
no.
we changed billing companies this past year, and so we had a kind of a slow transition there. We're getting caught up to that, but, so this year we're off a little bit from where we typically
But
are.
typically, have been making our budget. Every year except for one since I've been here, we made the budget. And something else, this last year, our call volume, I said it was down about 400 calls from the year before, but our falls without injury is like quadrupled. People are falling at home, they call us, come get them up, they don't get transported, we don't get paid.
We don't get paid if they don't transport them.
We still gotta go out there, we still gotta have a truck, we still gotta go get them up, but we don't get paid. So that, I don't know what is going on with that, but what you said is about right, 4 times normal. It's went way up. And, maybe we need to fall harder. But that's, that's and I've talked to other directors, they've been saying the same thing. In Putnam, in Warren, and DeKalb's call volumes are down this year. Ours is up, so I don't, and it may be that falling can't get up. But that's just what we provide. Those people pay our salaries, we go out and get them up.
Sure.
Adding supervisor right now, I've got Derek as assistant director. He works 7 days. He's off the other 7 days. So for 7 days, he's on the truck. It's not fair for him to have to answer calls at night and like that. So everything comes to me, 24/7, 7 days a week. Unlike the library, we're up 365, 24. Yeah, she's not here. I made sure. Okay. I felt safe standing here. But anyway, I was joking anyway. But everything comes to me, no matter what time of the day. I don't think I've had a vacation that I've not had to spend at least half of a day on the phone taking care of something that happened. But, and if we can, it may take us a while to get there, but a supervisor, it's not taking somebody off the truck. It's helping with somebody that has that authority to make decisions. You only got to call me if somebody's died or something, so to help take some off me. Any questions? And I'm probably the only department that don't have a supervisor. Yeah, or a secretary.
Do we have an associated cost for that second portion, adding a supervisor?
Chad, you put a price of that.
I think you,
Yeah.
I think it may be in the Google
See, if I had a secretary, it'd been on there.
spreadsheet.
I said if I had a secretary, it'd been on there.
I think what I figured that up on was just. I think what I figured that up on was just adding another medic, so it'd just be adding a full-time employee, and sorry. I figured that up at like 61,000.
Which will be divided up between 8.
Yeah, if you did like a full-time assistant director and moved that person off the truck, if you added like a shift supervisors, then that's like 18,000 or so, depending on what we did there, if you did one per shift. But that includes benefits, all that stuff as well.
And was that figuring just one person that wasn't on the truck? It was just a supervisor?
Yes.
Okay. Or we could figure that with a pay bump and then still be on the truck for right now, but.
Correct, yes, yeah.
And then the or add assistant director full-time, that would just be ensuring that Derek isn't on the truck
Right,
all the time. He can't help you if he's on the truck.
right.
Right.
Because, you know, he's dedicated to a patient, he can't know what's going on, he's got to sleep.
Answer a phone, you can't.
Right. All right, where are we at? Of course, overtime, we added some to that. Because we're increasing employees, so that built-in 8 hours is gonna increase our overtime. But, again, that would come down some because we'll be cutting overtime out. So like I said, it's hard to tell right now where that number is gonna come on overtime, because we're doing a lot of overtime because we don't have extra people.
And can't
Yeah,
predict calls.
And just for the new commissioners, or maybe we hadn't talked about this before, but with the EMS schedule, the way that it works is, there's automatically 8 hours of overtime built into their schedule on that second week. So, the first week is like 36 hours, and then the second week is 48 hours. And that's automatic even if they just work a regular shift. So that's where he's referring to there. If you add employees, then that's where you get into that.
But it'll probably wash out, because we'll be cutting some overtime, because we're not going, sending them out of
Right.
town so much.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so where are we at now?
Mike, I think some of these are
Yeah,
either
they're just
very,
normal.
very minute or self-explanatory.
Yes.
Um,
Insurance, I asked for $1,000 extra for Dr. Gentry. Again, we're adding runs, we're adding employees. It increases his work, things he has to read through, do orders we have to write. And he is probably cheaper than anybody in Upper Cumberland. Van Buren County pays more for their medical director than we do ours. So he is very good. He has been very good. He didn't ask. I put that in for him because he does do a lot to help us.
So let's, it's a pretty big jump ahead, but the very last line item, 790, there's a $19,000 increase in miscellaneous equipment. You want to put a breakdown there?
Okay, there is, again, we used to be $7,000 bought a cot. Not long ago, $7,000 bought a cot, now they're 40. Heart monitor's $46,000. So if we break something, or if we need something, you know, because the rules change or whatever, that's just something there. It's nothing that we're planning on, we're gonna spend that $26,000. You know, that $7,000, that's what we spent, $2,000 of that last year, Chad. It's just there to help us if something goes wrong, that we got a little bit to fall back on.
Thank you.
The one above that, we'll just get that one. We asked for, all right, that, half a truck, that's what we've been asking for every year, half a truck. It's either a remount, or in the second year we buy a truck. So we did ask for a new truck and a remount this year. And our thought in that is, the trucks get shared, the trucks will go 27 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365. We try to divide it up, so if a day truck has a truck this week, next week it's a night truck. Well, now it's getting where it doesn't matter. They're running out of towns the same. Used to, the days would run more out of towns than the nights, and that's where our miles come from, but now it's getting the same. So we try to divide them up, where if it was on days one night, it was on nights the next week. But we're putting so many miles on them, we can't keep up. So if we add a few trucks to it where we can get one truck per crew, we're cutting the miles on the trucks in half. Yes, we're adding more trucks, but we're not wearing those trucks out because we can't keep up at our rate. Remounting the trucks that we got because we're wearing them out. Everybody understand what I mean? Like I said, 2016 with 300,000 miles on it. The next one's a 14.
23 and 27 both have 260 to 270. The newest truck we have has over 100,000 miles on it.
And it was,
I think it's 110. That's the newest one.
it was a 22. It's got over 100,000 miles on it.
Also, some of the Reeboks, the remount ones, he's offered to me some of the wore-out trucks to turn into dump trucks we can use, so that's also a huge plus for me, so the more you get him, the more it helps all the way down the line.
This day has been very lucrative to you.
That's why I'm here.
So as the truck, like I said, as the trucks come out, you know, we pull the trucks out, we get the trucks, we bring them back, and they've been maintained by our maintenance, we know everything about them. Sometimes they're not worth getting, but typically, they're still running, they're just, we start putting a lot of money on them because of the miles, and, you know, just take an exhaust system for one of those trucks is over $5,000. And they'll last 2 to 3 years, we'll put another one on.
By math, but on 26 by math, we're putting 31,555 miles on the truck.
Yeah.
Almost 32,000 miles.
So that, you know, so that's why we ask for a remount and a truck, so we can start trying to get enough trucks, so every shift's got a truck. We cut the miles in half on them, and we're using them less. I know it's a big expense up front, but we're gonna have to start remounting 3 trucks at a time, and we ain't got enough trucks to cover those 3 trucks while they're gone, and then, you know, we're in trouble there. So, does anybody got any question on why we asked for that on there? The data processing, that's rotating the computer every year, that, like, we had, was it $26,000, Chad, 2 years in a row to get new computers. Those computers have a 3-year warranty on them, bumper to bumper, and at the end of 3 years, they're not worth, Chad's seen them here, they're not worth throwing in the garbage at the end of 3 years. They get dropped, fall, rained on, crapped on, peed on, blood all over them. They're in the back of the truck with patience. And again, in 3 years, they're not worth having. So instead of spending all that money every 3 years buying 5 of them, we want to start rotating them and buying 1 a year. That way, we've got an ongoing, just a $2,000 expense instead of $26,000 every 3 years.
Didn't our new, our provider, billing company, give us some, no,
We chose not to do that this year because it was cheaper for us to buy them ourselves.
yes.
It saved quite a bit to buy them ourselves, so we chose not to do that. Yeah, they just added that $26,000 back into our contract and then added interest on it.
Yeah, as soon as I said that, I remembered.
Communication equipment's a little more because we're gonna have to buy radio and radios for those employees and the trucks. And those have went up from $700 to almost $1,500 a piece. Is everybody else that can attest for that? Is there anything else you want me to get that, most of them are just small?
I think a lot of these are just built in to increase costs.
What is duplicated services?
That's rent on the copy machine.
Going up that much?
Going down.
Oh, down, going down. Okay.
Chad, there's something wrong there. It didn't go from 10,000 to 1,500. Was it 1,000 and went to 1,500?
Yeah, maybe so. I think it was like around 1,500 is what we're looking at for that.
If I'd had a
That's just
secretary, that comma would have been in the right spot.
That's just that's a per copy fee we pay for the copy machine.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, just like y'all's. If it tears up, they come fix it. If we run out of ink, they send you more. Uniforms.
N&L is in Cookville.
Livingston.
Livingston. Add 2,000 extra on uniform. We're adding more staff and everything's going up. As everybody's fully aware.
Drug costs pretty big. Joe?
Drug costs, we're going over, how much we over that right now, Chad? We were at 100% last month, I think,
You're at 107, 108%,
right now,
and we're in April.
so.
That's like, that's just like, the healthcare at the jail, it just costs what it costs.
Right.
Not much you can do about it.
Yeah, if I come back and say that one's empty, I mean, we got no choice but to buy that.
107%.
And I promise, I search 3 companies every time I order something. I do the best I can, and it's still,
What was the increase you felt on that lactated ringers the other day?
no, it went up, we used to pay $1.50, now it's $13 a bag. When I started, it was $1.50, now it's 13. And we've had run into worldwide shortages twice, which has jumped the price up. So even right now, we only get 8 boxes a month, whether we run out or not, that's all we get. So whatever it costs is what we got to pay.
Any line items you'd like to pull out, or specific questions for Mike?
So we understand what the Bureau of TennCare reimbursement is and all that. It's a Ponzi scheme the state's got set up. We pay them money, they give us more money back. That's pretty much what it is. We get money from the federal government for Medicare patients, and it's our emergency transport for Medicare patients. The state said they would get into the program to get us the money back, but they wouldn't put any money into it. So every ambulance service in the state pays this money in so much per call, and then we get, so we're paying, was it $1 something per call, and we get $6 or $7 back per call. So for that 60, we're making, what, 240, 250,000, somewhere in there. So we pay them, they pay us more money. We added the license fee went up a little bit. If we added 2 ambulances, we're adding 2 ambulances, our fee's going up a little bit. That's the reason that little bit of money's in there. Anybody else got any questions?
Thank you.
And again, if you throw out the sheriff stuff, my stuff don't look that much. So,
That's true.
and anybody got any questions on the surrounding counties on pay or any of that stuff?
If you have that, hand to me, if you don't mind, since you're on topic.
This is Putnam County.
Or you can email it to me.
How about I email?
Yes.
Putnam County sent me something that's not reading.
Okay.
So I'll put it in legible, send it to you.
Have your
secretary do it.
Yeah, if I had a secretary, it'd already be in, it'd be typed instead of handwritten. So, will I beat that horse to death?
Thank
All
you,
right.
Mike.
Thank y'all very much.
Hey, thank you for what you do.
All right, any discussion on the 3 departments to wrap up? Any old business? New business?
I always have new business.
Let's do it.
Chad, do you think it's appropriate for us to do a resolution, send a full court on that program, opioid money?
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
What it is, we've got $140,000 on the opioid money this year. It can't be spent anywhere but to help do opioid abatement. I've got 5 groups that have applied or talking about this money. I would like to maybe even possibly start getting that out by the end of April. I don't have a detailed itemized statement for you, but it's $140,000 to start distributing for opioid abatement.
Among 5 different groups, correct?
Well, I've got 5 asking for it. I'm going through the applications and going through what they're gonna ask for, and I'll present that. That'll be another
A separate resolution later.
resolution. This is appropriating that funding.
I see, okay.
So if we appropriate the funding tonight, would you have a resolution by our standard budget meeting next Monday? Or can we do that all at once?
I
Or
would hope to have it by our full court meeting so that we can start distributing that money by the end of the month, the 1st of May.
we have a budget call meeting first, a standard budget meeting.
Oh, we have another
next
standard
Monday.
meeting?
Yes.
2 weeks from yesterday.
2 weeks?
No, it's,
No,
yeah,
It's
next,
the 3rd
it's
Monday.
next Monday.
You're talking about full court though, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about having one ready by full court.
So that
But
would
we
be 2
still-
weeks from,
Oh, so
We still have another budget
Yeah,
meeting
okay, we
next
still got
Monday.
another budget meeting, if we still have another budget meeting next Monday, yes, we can do it then, that's not too late.
Next Monday is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's where I'm at too.
okay,
Are we gonna appropriate now, or,
we can do it next Monday, just as long as we have it done before full court.
And you can
and you'll
have
the-
everything laid out, lined out by that time.
That would be the plan,
Okay.
that would be the plan, I would have where the money's going.
Hold off, you'll get it next week.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Any other
I didn't
new
think about
business?
doing it again next week.
The faithful few that have made it this late, we'd open the floor for a public comment. Anybody's got
Public comment, that's you.
anything to bring up?
Tell me what I told you about her.
I don't remember.
Oh, don't tell me that.
You tell so much, I don't remember.
This is your chance.
Well,
Introduce yourself, please.
my name is Connie Davis.
Thank you.
Like you don't know who I am, but anyway. I heard on the radio, and it might be something that we can look at and figure out a way of doing it, but I heard on the radio that Putnam County was using non-certified EMA people to just drive and assist in loading and unloading. That might cut down on some of the expense.
I'm assuming you're referring to ambulances.
They wasn't allowed to do anything medical. It was just to drive and to load and unload. And they would have a year to become certified if they wanted that position. And if not, they could stay as that, or they could get somebody else to drive and assist. I heard on the radio, it's the only reason I know about it.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Yes, come, if you don't care, come on.
The state, well, is it, you know, we're in a big shortage. Everybody's in a shortage. They come up with that, we can have drivers. Those drivers, like she said, has to be in EMT school within a year. If they're not in EMT school within a year, they are no longer an employee. That's it. They cannot be there longer than a year and not be in EMT school. So you're gonna put somebody with no medical training and a paramedic, and that's it. You got one paramedic.
Does that make that a BLS truck?
It'll still be an ALS truck. So, but you've got one person who can do absolutely nothing in a paramedic.
What about EMR?
EMR, that'd be just like a driver. They have no standing in the truck. So everybody see what I mean? You got,
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking that you would have this person maybe driving, like you still had two people.
yeah, now you could do that, but then you're paying three people
You're paying three
instead of two. I mean, we'd love that if you want
There was
to
an
buy three
issue,
people per truck.
what, 10, 15 years ago where ambulance company, private ambulance company out of Murfreesboro was hauling people around in a minivan and then charging them as a
Right.
BLS or ALS truck. And he went to prison over that.
But like I said, I mean, that's an option. We can always put three people in a truck and pay all three.
That's not a good option.
Okay, I'll sit down.
Thank you, Mike.
If you had a secretary, she'd have told you that.
Any other public comment? All right, our next meeting will be next Monday, following, is there purchasing that night? Yes. Following purchasing committee, next Monday, April the 7th. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye. We're adjourned.